Good morning, students. Today we are going to again continue with our class with the geography only, lesson number 4, that is air. In this lesson, first of all, we should know the meaning of air. What do you mean by air? So, the atmosphere of Earth is a layer of gases, and that commonly is known as air. So, our Earth is surrounded by the huge blanket of air called atmosphere. So this to be we understood also, and we know also that our Earth is surrounded by huge blanket of air that is called as atmosphere, and all living beings on this Earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival, and it provides us the air we breathe. Now, what is the importance of this atmosphere? The importance of atmosphere is that it provides us the air we breathe. uh, it provides us the air we breathe and protect us from the harmful effects of the sun rays. So as we know that the human body can't tolerate the excess of sunlight heat, and when the sun rays are there, some harmful rays of the sun are also there which can affect the human body. So this layer of atmosphere protect us from those harmful uh, effects of the sun rays also, and without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during day and get frozen during night. That means if this atmosphere, this blanket of atmosphere would not be present in on the earth, then we would surely be baked alive by the heat of the sun, or would be frozen. Our body could have been frozen due to the during the night due to very much cold. So uh, it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. So this layer of atmosphere which is surrounded the which is surrounding the earth, it has made the temperature on the earth livable so that every living being can be able to live a life in on the earth. Then next, composition of atmosphere. Now, do you know that the air we take in while breathing is actually the mixture of gases? So, whatever we breathe inside, that air is the mixture of gases. First of all, we can say that nitrogen and oxygen are the two gases which make up the bulk of atmosphere. So, two main gases which make up the bulk of atmosphere is uh, nitrogen and oxygen. That means nitrogen and oxygen are present in large quantity in the atmosphere. So these two gases are very much present in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, and apart from nitrogen and oxygen, carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon, and hydrogen are also found, but they are found in the lesser quantity. Then, apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. So, these gases are there: nitrogen and oxygen in large quantity. It is there. Carbon dioxide, helium, argon, ozone, and hydrogen. They are in the less quantity. But apart from all these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air, and the pie chart gives you the percentage of different constituents of air. Now, according to this pie chart, you can understand that this is the part of nitrogen. That means 78% of nitrogen is present in the air, whereas oxygen is 21% in the blue color here. Then carbon dioxide is 0.03 percentage, and argon is 0.93 percentage over here, and other gases which are present in the air is uh, 0.04%. So through this pie chart, it is made clear that how much amount of nitrogen, oxygen, and other gases are present. Now, nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. Which is the most plentiful gas in the air? Nitrogen. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. That means when we inhale, inhale means when we breathe inside, then we take some amount of nitrogen also into our lungs, and that only nitrogen we exhale. Exhale means breathe out. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. Plants also need nitrogen for their survival. Now, before going to the next page, the side box, do you know carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth? That means, underline this, carbon dioxide release in the atmosphere, it creates the greenhouse effect. Underline this, which gas creates the greenhouse effect, that is carbon dioxide. And by the how it helps by trapping the heat uh, radiated brought by the earth, and it is therefore called greenhouse gas. And without it, the earth would have been too cold to live in. And without this greenhouse gas, the earth would be too cold to live in. However, when its level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke or car fumes and all, the heat retained increases the temperature. Due to the increase in the heat on the earth, the temperature also increases, and this is called global warming. And when the temperature increases on the earth due to the increase of the smoke and car fumes and all, then that is called as global warming. This rise in temperature caused the snow in the coldest parts. Now, what is the result of this global warming? If global warming is there, then it causes the snow to melt in the world. As the result, the sea level also rises. When the global warming is there, then the sea level also rises, and it results into the flood in the coastal areas. And there may be drastic changes in the climate of the place, leading to extinction of some plant and animal in the long run. That means in uh, future might be this global warming can lead to the extinction, to the destruction of plant and animal life. Even it is mean it results in the bringing the changes also in the climatic conditions. So this is the result of global warming. Next, they can here but plants need nitrogen for their survival. Now, as we have read earlier, that the plants need nitrogen for their survival, but they cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. They themselves cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. And who helps the plants to take the nitrogen? The bacteria. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of the plants. These bacteria take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. You can underline this, how plants take nitrogen. Plants take nitrogen with the help of bacteria that live in the soil and roots of the plants. And these bacteria take nitrogen from the air and change its form, and thus the plant can use it. Clear this much? Now, oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. So, the most plentiful gas we have already read about, that is nitrogen. The second most plentiful gas is air. Oxygen. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. That means as we breathe inside, we human beings, the living organism, take oxygen. Now, green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. Now, green plants produce oxygen. How they produce oxygen? Through photosynthesis. This photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis, you might be familiar with this word during the science uh, lesson and all. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant, and in this way, the release means green plants take carbon dioxide, which is released from human beings and animals, and they in return produce oxygen during the photosynthesis. And in this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant, remains the same. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed, and if we cut trees, more and more trees are cut, then this my balance of oxygen might be disturbed. Now, carbon dioxide oxide is another important gas. Another important gas is carbon dioxide. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. Now, this carbon dioxide is very helpful for green plants in making their food. And when they intake this carbon dioxide, they release the oxygen, which is important for human beings and animals. Now, humans and animals release carbon dioxide, and the amount of carbon dioxide released by humans and animals seem to be equal the amount used by the plants, which make perfect balance. That means the human beings and animals, they take out, breathe out carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is taken by the green plants to make their food, and in return these green plants release the oxygen. So in this way, the equal amount is used by the plants, which make the perfect balance. It makes the perfect balance. How much carbon dioxide they intake, that much oxygen is released back for human and animal. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels. Now, if the burning, more and more burning of fuels is there, firewood is there, then as coal and oil is burnt more and more, then this balance get disturbed. They add billions of tons of carbon. Increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate, and thus the increased volume of carbon dioxide due to the burning of coal, oil, firewood, and all that increase the volume of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and this is uh, affecting the Earth's weather and climate also. When the air is heated, it expands, becomes lighter, and goes up. This you already know that when anything is heated, when the water is also boiled on much degree, then it evaporates up in the form of evaporation. The same way the air is heated and it expands and become when lighter, then it goes up. Cold air is denser and heavy, whereas cold air is denser, very thick and heavy. That is why it tends to sink down. That is why it remains down only. When hot air rises, cold air forms from surrounding area rushes there to fill the gap, and that is how air circulation take place. That means as soon as the lighter air, that is the hot air, becomes light and goes up, the cold air, as soon as the hot air rises up, the cold air, which is denser and heavy, sinks down and takes the means take fill the gap, whatever the gap is produced due to the rising of the hot air. That cold air fills that gaps, and this is how air circulation takes place. You can underline this also, how the air circulation take place. Now the amount of carbon dioxide, most of the carbon dioxide, if the balance is not created properly, that means the proper oxygen breathing of oxygen is not there for human beings, and more carbon dioxide is released in the atmosphere, then we have already understood that it will be affecting our weather and climate also. Now, next topic is structure of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is divided into five layers, starting from the Earth's surface. That means the whole atmosphere is divided into five layers, and these five layers are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So these are the five layers. This whole atmosphere is divided into these five layers which are present in the atmosphere. First, we'll read about troposphere, and this layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometer, and the air we breathe exists here only. And then almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occur in this uh, layer. So this is the layer, this is the most, which is the most important layer of atmosphere. It is troposphere, and it height is 13 kilometer. And all the weather phenomena, that is rainfall, fog, hailstorm means we can say ओले जब गिरते हैं, they are called as hailstorm. So they, all these weather phenomena occur in this layer, that is troposphere. Then next is stratosphere. Above the troposphere, the next layer lies is stratosphere, and it extends up to the height of 50 kilometers. Here it is up to the 50 kilometers. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomena. So which layer is almost free from clouds? It is stratosphere, making conditions most ideal for flying aeroplanes. And it is the means in this stratosphere most ideal conditions are there for flying the aeroplanes and all. So mostly aeroplanes fly in this stratosphere, in this layer called as stratosphere. The important feature of stratosphere is that it contains the layer of ozone gas. So which is the important feature of stratosphere? The important feature is that this layer contains the ozone gas also. And we have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effects of the sun rays. And this we already understood in the previous page, that how ozone layer protect us, the human beings, from the harmful effect of the sun rays. The third layer is the mesosphere. This is the third layer, and it lies above the stratosphere, just above the stratosphere. Here it is the mesosphere, and it extends up to 80 kilometers. And here, what all things are present? Meteoroids burn up in this layer on entering from the space. So, this in the mesosphere, meteoroids burn up in this layer on entering from the space. Next is thermosphere. In thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with the increasing height. As thermosphere is a little bit higher, so with the increasing height, the temperature also rises. Then uh, ionosphere is the part of this layer. So what is the part of this layer? Thermosphere, ionosphere. It extends up to it extends between 800 to 400 kilometers. This layer helps in radio. Now, ionosphere, this helps in the radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the Earth are reflected back to the Earth by ionosphere only. So, this is the fourth layer. First, we have read about troposphere, which is most important layer, and all the weather phenomena is there in troposphere. Second is stratosphere. Second, where uh, the means it is almost free from clouds, plus aeroplanes and all fly easily over here. Then here, third, mesosphere, where meteoroids burn, you can see in the picture. Then fourth is thermosphere, and this the most important layer is there, that is the ionosphere, in which radio transmission is possible, due to which radio transmission is possible. And the last is exosphere, the uppermost layer of the atmosphere, that is known as exosphere. You can underline this, which is the uppermost layer of atmosphere. It is exosphere, and this layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. So which light gases flow from here? Helium and hydrogen. Now next, weather and climate. Is it good to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? These are the questions arising. How many times have we heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fate of the one day match? Means when the one day match is being held, the people who are speculating that match, who are there to see that match, they often go to these questions, that will there be rain today or will be bright or sunny day to day. So if we imagine our body to the radio and the mind in its speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. That means when weather is there, the control knobs fiddle. Special type of noises are there. Weather in is this our to our day to day condition of the atmosphere. You can underline this. What is weather? Weather is this hour to hour and day to day condition of the atmosphere. Means whatever just now it might be sunny. The very moment, the very next 5 to 10 minutes, it might be rain. It may be humid, hot and humid. The other time, it may be very much means little bit pleasant uh, uh, condition in the atmosphere. So this is we can say that it is the weather condition. So weather is the hour to hour or day to day condition to the atmosphere. The hot or humid weather may make one irritable. Means when it is too much hot and that makes you irritable. That means you irritate, you don't want to do any work, just you want to remain in ACs and all. And but the if the weather is pleasant, the pleasant and breezy weather is there, means breeze, cool breeze is blowing, may make one cheerful and even plan for outing. Even you can plan for outing in the pleasant day when the weather is very good. It is the cool breeze is blowing, so that will make you very happy, and you will even prepare for a plan for going out also. However, the average weather condition of a place for the longer period of time represent the climate. Means if this weather condition remains same for longer period, for a bigger period, the same weather condition remains. That means it is represent as it is termed as climate. Now, do you understand why we have daily weather forecast? Why we have daily weather forecast? Because daily the changes are there in the weather. Sometimes it is hot, sometimes it is cold, and that is why it is termed as weather is hour to hour and day to day condition of the atmosphere. When this weather condition remains same for the longer period, then it will be termed as climate. Next, you will be surprised to know that the earth receives only one in so many parts of the sun's energy. Then temperature, the temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. So underline this, the temperature you feel every day. Today you are feeling very much hot, or then uh, it seems that the temperature is the in the atmosphere is the same. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. That means how much hot or how much cold the air is. That means it is showing about the temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Now seasons as summer season, winter season, so from seasons to season also this temperature changes. That summer season the temperature is very hot, whereas in winter season the temperature is very cold. So the temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day but from day to day, but from the season to season also. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. Now, what is insolation? Insolation is the incoming solar energy in, intercepted by the earth. Now, insolation is the coming of the energy, solar energy. Solar energy means the energy produced from the earth. So, the incoming of this energy, of this earth energy, that is called as insolation. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. Now, this amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. As you know, that equator in the center is there, and as you move away from the equator, you will move towards the pole. That is North Pole and South Pole. The temperature, uh, the insolation, the heat of the sun towards the pole will decrease and it will become colder and colder. In the side box, weather instruments are there. Thermometer, first it is shown the thermometer, which is used to measure the temperature. Second, barometer, it measures the atmospheric pressure. To measure the atmospheric pressure, barometer is used. And third one is rain gauge, that is measures the amount of rainfall, how much rainfall is there. It is calculated through rain gauge. Then wind vane, it is shows the direction of the wind, in which direction the wind is blowing. So all these are the weather instrument which show the measurement of different temperature or atmospheric pressure, or we can say rainfall, or the direction of the wind. Now the temperature decreases in the same manner. That means uh, insulation we see, we have read this here, that as we move away from the equator and moves towards the pole, the temperature decreases, and thus it becomes colder and colder. Now do you understand why poles are covered with snow? Now you may have understood clearly that why poles are covered with snow, because their temperature is very much, means no temperature, decreased temperature is there. The earth, uh, we can say, the energy of the earth, the solar energy doesn't reaches, the heat of the earth, it doesn't reaches till there. Near the equator it might be very hot. If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow, and temperature in cities is much higher than in the villages. Underline this, where the temperature in city is much higher than the villages. The concentrate and metals in buildings and uh, asphalts of road, means the uh, things which makes the road get heated up during the daytime. That means during the day, the concrete and the metals of which the buildings are made, even the material which is made to make the roads, that material becomes heated up very fast during the day, and that is why it, that we can say the temperature in the city is much higher than that of the villages, and this heat is released during the night also. Also, a crowded high rise building of the cities trap the warm air, thus raise the temperature of the city. So the crowded high buildings are so much high in the cities that they trap the warm air and thus rise the temperature of the cities also. Now, the standard unit of measuring temperature is degree or Celsius. It was invented by Andrews Celsius, and that is why the degree is Celsius only. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degree and boils at 100 degree. Now, air pressure. You will be surprised to know that air above us presses us with the great force on our body. That means if air pressure will not be there, we might be floating in the atmosphere. So, however, we don't even feel it. This is the because the air presses us from all the direction and the body exerts the counter pressure. So, you will be surprised to see that we are press means the air presses us with the great force downwards, and this is we even don't feel this force on our body, and because of this air presses us from all the direction, our body exerts the counter pressure. That means our body is also gives the pressure back, and air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of the air on the earth's surface. Underline this, the air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of the air. So, whatever pressure is exerted is put on by the weight of the air on the earth's surface, it is defined as air pressure. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. As we go up uh, the layers of the atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly, means one after the air pressure is highest at the sea level. Where this air pressure is highest, this air pressure is highest as the sea level and decreases with the height. With the height, it decreases. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of the air at a given place. Now, horizontally, the distribution of air pressure, this air pressure, when the pressure is exerted by the weight of the air, it is this pressure is influenced by the temperature of the air also, how much cold or how much hot that air is at a given place. And in area where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. And when the area where the temperature is high, as we all have understood clearly, that when the temperature is high, uh, we it rises up, the air rises up, and this creates the low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. You can underline this. The low pressure is associated with, means the low pressure means the cloudy skies and wet weather. That means whenever pressure is less of the air, there the cloudy skies will be there and little bit weather will be wet. In areas having low temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. So, which causes the high pressure area? The when the heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. So, as when we have already understood clearly that when the temperature will be low, if the temperature will be high, definitely we will rise up, the pressure will rise up. But if the temperature of the given area is low, then the air will be definitely cold and it will be the heavy air will sink down, will settle down, and then creates the pressure, high pressure area. And this high pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies. And the pressure, when the high pressure will be there, it will be associated, it will be clearly seen in the form of clear and sunny skies. And the air always move from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. How does air moves? You can underline, air always moves from high pressure to the low pressure. That means when higher the pressure will be high on the top, the it will be definitely cold. The temperature will be cold and it will come down. On the moon, there is no air and hence no air pressure. You can underline this, where there is no air pressure on the moon. Astronauts have to wear special protective space suits. So this question can arise, that why do astronauts have to wear the special protective space suits? So astronauts have to wear special protective space suits filled with air when they go to moon, because if they did not wear these spacesuits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronaut would make the blood vessel burst and the astronaut would bleed. And this is the reason why astronauts have to wear the special protective suits which are filled with the air. Next, wind, the movement of air from high pressure to the low pressure areas is called wind. Underline this. What do you mean by the word wind, or what define wind? The movement of air from high pressure area to the low pressure area is called wind. Now you can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproot trees during the storm. Now the movement of wind. If the wind is blowing peacefully in the lower speed, then it will only dry leaves will blow out. But if we see that the wind is blowing in the fast speed, then might be it can uproot the plants, forming resulting in the great destruction during the storm. We can see this type of wind destruction. due to the high speed of the wind. Sometimes, when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. When the wind is and not too much speed is there of that wind, it is blowing very gently. Then, when the you can observe the smoke, when the smoke is there due to the blowing of this wind, the smoke also blows even the fine dust, the upper layer of the soil, that also blows with the gently blows with the wind. And at times, and that shows that that wind is blowing. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. And sometimes we see that the wind is so much strong that the speed is so much high that we can't walk against that wind, against that speed of the wind. You must have experienced it not easy to hold an umbrella on the windy day. When the windy day is there, then you cannot hold your umbrella also. It always, when the wind is blowing, it is always moving backside, or even it is turned upside down. So this is the way you can observe that it is the windy day. Think of some other example when strong winds have created problems for you. Wind can be problems for you. Now, do you know the wind is named after the direction from which it blows? That is, the wind blowing from the west is called westerly. Now, the wind also has been given the names. It is known by the different names. That is, the wind blowing from the western side, it is called as westerly. Now, winds can be broadly divided into three types. Now, the winds are also divided into three types. First, we can say that permanent winds. As the name indicates, these winds are permanent. That is, the trade winds, westerlies and easterlies, means the wind blowing from eastern side is easterlies, the wind blowing from western side is westerlies, and these are called as permanent winds. You can underline this. Winds can be divided broadly divided into three types. First, permanent winds, and give the example of permanent winds: the trade winds, the westerlies, the easterlies. They are called as the permanent winds, and these blow constantly throughout the year in the particular direction. Means the direction doesn't change; they blow in a particular direction. Always is the same. The particular direction of these winds is always same. Means the westerlies will blow from western areas only. The easterlies will blow from eastern areas only, and this way we can say that they are called as permanent winds. Second type of wind is seasonal winds. These winds change their direction in different seasons. Now, seasonal winds, as their name indicates, that they are seasonal. According to the season, they change their direction. For example, monsoon in India. So, monsoon winds, according to the season, when monsoon is there in that particular area, that type of wind starts blowing in that area. So, here seasonal wind example is monsoon in India. Third, local winds. Now, local winds are those winds which blow only during the particular period of the day or a year in a small area. As the name indicates, the local winds. That means it blows in that particular area only, and it is particular period of the day or the year only. And the example is land or sea breeze, or we can also uh, say that hot and dry local winds of northern plains in India, we often termed as Lu. As you have heard this word Lu in during the summer season, your parents, your grandparents don't allow to move out of the houses because Lu is blowing. Lu is blowing. That means hot wind is blowing. So this is a type of local wind that blows. The Lu is a local wind that blows in the northern plains of India. So clear these three types of winds. First, permanent. They are permanent, their direction not change. Seasonal, they change their direction according to the season. An example is monsoon winds. Third, local winds, as the name indicates, it blows in the particular day or the year only, in particular area only. And the example is land or sea breeze. In the coastal areas, land and sea breeze is there. and the Lu is there in the northern plains of India. Now the cyclone, that is fur, nature's fury, that means Odisha, located on the eastern sea coast. In the previous lesson, we have read about earthquake, the natural disaster. Now, this is the cyclone. That is the that is also another natural disaster. Now, here we that time the earthquake we have read about Bhuj area that was in Gujarat. Now, here the cyclone was there in Odisha, located on the eastern sea coast of India, in prone to the cyclone. That means Odisha, which is the eastern sea coast of India, is very much prone to the cyclones. Means there often this type of cyclone arises in the Bay of Bengal. On 17th and 18th of October 1999, cyclone hit the district of state Andhra, sorry, strict district of the state. Another super cyclone occurred on 29th of October 1999 that devastated large proportion of the state. Devastated means that make a great destruction in the large portion of the particular state of Odisha. So the damages caused were mainly due to the three factor. So mainly three factors were responsible for the damages which were made due to the occurrence of the cyclone. The winds of up to 260 kilometers. That means the winds of up to 260 kilometers per hour lasted for about 36 hours. That means up to 36 hours. This 260 kilometer per hour, the speed of wind was there, and this was the result that the cyclone appeared. These high velocity, these high velocity means this high speed winds uprooted the trees and damaged the kacha houses, rooftops of several industries. So, what was the destruction made during this cyclone? That this high speed wind uprooted the trees, it damages the kacha houses, rooftops of the several industrial sheets, and the other houses were also blown away. Power supply and telecom lines. Power supply and telecom lines snapped completely means was destroyed completely, and heavy rains occurred under the influence of cyclone for 3 days continuously, and these rains led to the waves of the that sweeps 20 kilometers. These rains then these rains led to the flooding of the major rivers of Odisha. Because of these continuous rains and all, that led to the flooding of the rivers in the Odisha. And the cyclone winds caused tidal waves also. Huge tidal waves appeared. This swept 20 kilometers inland and brought massive destruction, a great destruction to the coastal areas, the areas near the sea. The 7 to 10 meters high tidal waves intruded suddenly and caused massive damage to the standing paddy crops. Standing paddy crops means it also damaged the crops, agricultural crops production also. So this was the great damage made due to the cyclone which appeared in Odisha. The cyclone originated as a depression in the Gulf of Thailand and near east of the Port Blair on 25th of October in 1999, and gradually moved in the northwestern direction, in initialized into the super cyclone and hit the area between Ireshama and Balaikoda in Odisha on 29th October at 10:30 a.m. Further, it was carried away to this areas a super cyclone in the form of super cyclone on 29th October at 10:30 a.m. in Odisha. The super cyclone swept the entire coast of Odisha, including the cities of Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, and 28 coastal towns. So 28 coastal towns, including Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, were also destruction. A large scale destruction was there, and about 13 million people were affected. A large number of livestock were also killed. A large number of livestock was killed means many number of animals were also killed during this cyclone. Standing crops of paddy means the crops, uh, we agricultural crops was also damaged. Vegetable fruits were heavily damaged, and due to the salinization caused by tidal surge. Salinization of caused by tidal surge means due to the impurity of water. That means saline water was there, uh, in which we can salt means salty water was present, due to which large tracts of agricultural land have turned infertile due to the salinity of water, due to the water was not so much up to the mark where agricultural land can be productive. That type of water was there due to this cyclone. And the large tracts of sal, teak, bamboo plantation have disappeared. So these type of plantation had already disappeared, just because of the salinity of water, more salt present in the water, which was flooded by the tidal waves, huge tidal waves, uh, due to the cyclone. And the mangroves forest between Pradeep and Konar also vanished. So that's all for today. We'll continue the lesson in our next class. Till then, read the lesson. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Uh, and uh, the syllabus, you are well aware that this lesson and plus one civics lesson is remaining, that in the coming 1 or 2 days on Saturday might be, I will start with the civics lesson. Okay. So next, whenever we'll having the class, I will continue with this moisture, and after that I am going to give you the question answers of this lesson in the PDF form. Please do it in the notebook neatly, and whenever I will ask the these question answers of this lesson, do it neatly in the notebook. In the PDF form, you have to submit the answers, question answers, very short and long. So if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. But in the next class, might be tomorrow, I will upload again. I will inform you about this. Only little bit is remaining, so I will upload this much, which is the remaining part, tomorrow. You can check it. Uh, I will give the link of the YouTube. You can check it there. Okay. Thank you.